Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RCBian Chelsea Fan TV. And yes, we are back. It's the end of the Euros, and we had to come again and discuss with you all as to what happened in the final. Such a dramatic final that we had, and a lot of events on and off the pitch, right? I hope you all are doing fine meanwhile. And just as we begin, I would request you all to please subscribe as well as hit that like button in case you have not done already. With me, I have as always, I think regular watchers must have definitely seen you, Taron. Taron, welcome back to the stream. How are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, thanks for having me back on the stream, Ankit. Thank you to Live Chat for tuning in. It's going to be a great discussion with new guests who I've never been on with before. So, yeah, really excited to get into it. Thanks for having me on.
Yes. Thank you to taking the time off again. Yes, Taron is done with his Euro only the podcast series, and it's a great series. Definitely, you guys should go and check it out. Great hear that, right? And I'm sure like he'll come up with a lot more podcast series as well in the coming days as the season begins, the club season begins, right? But yes, like Taron mentioned today. We have special guests, one special guest in particular, because yes, he is not a Chelsea fan, unlike the other panel, and he is Fateh. I'll just add Fateh to the stream. How are you, Fateh?
Hi, Ankit. Honor to be here. I may not be a Chelsea fan, but I've admired Chelsea from the Gianluca Vialli days. So there's always been an Italian connection that Chelsea has had. And as a fan of Italian football in general, I've always admired Chelsea.
Right. We really appreciate that, I'm sure. But you are an Inter Milan and Italy fan, so I should ask you definitely. I know Taron being English, I did not question him there because it's a bad experience, like the way it ended. But Fateh, for you, it must have been surreal. How's the feeling like?
I'm feeling good. I was pretty confident before the final. A lot of press was about it's coming home or it's coming to Rome. Italy, for all their faults, whenever there is team spirit with the Italian team, they always perform well. So this time, Mancini and the experienced old horses, Chiellini and Bonucci, they've created this tight knit spirit in the squad that could be seen right from the start. And I was very confident this would be coming to Rome, and it did.
Well, I think most of us predicted that England would get to the
Yeah.
latter stages, but in Italy definitely we've got to give it to Italy because the form that they've been, like, it's been terrific, right? And we'll certainly discuss in detail as we go further in the stream, and we like to welcome the third guest, that is Mikhail. Mikhail, how are you, bro?
Hey guys, I'm good. Great to be here.
Welcome back. I think it's your second stream on RCB and Chelsea Fan TV, and I'm really looking forward to the chat. So Mikhail represents basically Chelsea in this stream. Me back to the Dutch supporter that I was, and definitely talking about the team of the tournament. Taron will be English, and he is English rather, and Fateh definitely is Italian fan. So Mikhail, with the neutral out there, like, how was your experience? Like, did international football really kick in, or you are looking forward to club football more?
Well, it was a nice segue from club football after the heady heights that we, as the Chelsea supporters, reached with the Champions League run and the euphoria of that. It was a sudden switch to international football this summer for sure. But I think the football community got involved in the internationals. There were a lot of stars that we see from our club teams. Yeah, that were representing their countries. Chelsea had a massive representation. I think we had the most representation in the Euros of any club team. So as a quote unquote neutral, I had lots of Chelsea players to follow all over the tournament, and I was cheering them on in all their respective games. So it was a fun tournament for me from that perspective, for sure.
Yes, like definitely international football has been rekindled, as I've been saying last few weeks, right? So it's been a month of football that we have seen, and a lot of matches, like a lot of drama. And I believe we should jump into the first section. But before we jump into that, quick word here, because RCB and Chelsea Fan TV definitely remembers the cricketing legends, and unfortunately we just lost legend, Indian legend at that, Yashpal Sharma. He was a hero in the first World Cup win for India in 1983, the forgotten hero, as many say. And unfortunately, we just lost him today. So condolences to him and his family. And maybe he rests in peace, and hopefully we can bring laurels to the country again. So yes, moving on, guys. I believe we should move on to the first section. Ready?
Yep.
Okay. Wow, a lot of talking points there for sure. But as that video said, guys, one issue has to be addressed first and foremost, and that is racism. Yes, I have a platform and I would like to use it, and I'm sure the panel would agree as well. We just saw the scenes there, what happened. Great tournament, great final, great match at that. But the end and the beginning of the end as well, it was not acceptable at all. Three penalty takers who just missed a penalty each, and it is not worth at all to actually go and abuse them online, especially racially, right? It's not on at all. So that's something that needs to be dealt with. Anyone who's watching this stream, I'm sure you guys will support it, and I would request you all to please encourage and voice it, because it's our voice. We can voice it, and that's how the word is going to spread. I know that there are teams in the international scene as well as club scene who do not want to take the knee, but the idea is that still a lot of people are not educated enough when it comes to the real big day. Things really turn upside down, and everyone forget what exactly a person is, and discrimination is not on at all, right? As in, just because they were black or anyone might be brown doesn't matter. What you do on the pitch or any work that you do is what is important, and we cannot accept any kind of online abuse, be it right or wrong. No, it's not acceptable, because mental problems are definitely important, and you cannot give a mental health issue to anyone from that perspective, right? And even another point, Taron, I'll probably start with you, because yes, a lot of talking points on the pitch, but before the game, like me as an international supporter, I did tweet about this yesterday as well. But Wembley is basically like the place to be. It's basically the temple of football for me, and I always dream of going to Wembley, right? As in, you've obviously been there, I'm assuming, but the scenes which happened just before the game, right? As in the ticketing issue, and then people just coming, and the stewards issue, like that's something that needs to be dealt with. Is that something that Wembley has a problem, or is it a one-off, you believe?
Yeah, I think it was just the pure joy of all the fans, reaching. We've been starved of international joy for so many years now, that all these fans are trying to make use of this once in a lifetime opportunity. It's being seen like at the minute. There's many fans, people I know personally at my age, who've gotten into the stadium without a ticket, and I just don't think what happened with the Hillsborough disaster back in, I think it was some 1900s kind of year. I just don't think it's worth it, even though it's a massive game. It wasn't a full capacity. You never know. There could have been 20,000 fans, 10,000 fans trying to break into the stadium. It could have caused a massive crush. It could have caused a tragedy. But luckily, it was all controlled in the end. And Wembley, yes, it's one of the most expensive stadiums, but they can't afford thousands of stewards to be standing outside the ground at one time. Whether it's for this game, to control all these fans, they should have their own brain to kind of take into account and say, yeah, it's a massive game. We couldn't get a ticket for the game. We'll watch it at a pub at home, and we'll take in the atmosphere. But even at Leicester Square, the scenes, which is quite close to where I live, people just smashing bottles on the floor, attacking police sources, attacking police officers. It's an absolute joke to us, and it looks just bad in England fans. People now I think, all England fans are some kind of villains. And me personally, I'm a massive England fan. I would never do anything like that. So it just reflects badly on all of us. And it just, the 2030 World Cup, I think there's big doubts over that being held in the UK now. And, it's really bad in this country. But, the final was a game that, we should talk about more. But this issue is still something that is a big issue in football, and it needs to be ironed out soon.
Yes, for sure. Because, for me, what I take away from the tournament is a great footballing, spectacle. But the end, what happened that day basically marred everything for me. And that's the reason I started off with that. Sorry to start off with a negative note, but, that's something that was important, I believe. And thanks, Taron, for sharing your opinion as well. Moving on to Fateh, definitely, we have to speak about Italy. I know the start that we just saw, I think it was the fastest goal ever in Euros. We did speak about basically Italy having a weakness in Emerson at left back defensively in the last stream. Fateh, as an Italian fan, what was running through you in those first couple of minutes?
So yeah, I mean, I think everybody expected Sterling and perhaps even Saka starting, and the pacey wingers that England had would cause the Italian defense a lot of problem, and it's sort of just started like that. And I think the first 25 minutes as an Italian fan were really brutal to watch. We couldn't get passing, the passing lanes were all cut. We couldn't get any moves on. There were hardly any chances that the Italians created in the first half. But slowly, I felt like, the confidence started coming in the team, which is, again, something that you expect the Italians to do. We grow into the game. I mean, go back to the 2006 final. The French made a great start. They had an early Zidane penalty that they scored, and they were all over the Italians. But then slowly, the Italians got back into the game. And I thought the English really missed a step there. I mean, I think even after the first goal, they really needed to press the Italians. And somehow, I think England just lost the midfield to the Italians. And once we had control of the midfield in the second half, from there onwards, we dictated the tempo of the game. And it was not too hard to see us take the game to penalties, and then sure, it's luck, but then also, you can sort of say that against the English, you're generally going to come up on top in penalties. So yeah, I mean, expected it.
Yeah, that's definitely summed up very well, Fateh, and I can relate to basically what you felt there, right? As in those first half minutes that England possibly took the gas off, right? But yes, we have a lot of people in the chat, guys. So big up to you all. I see Chelsea perspective. Luca is here, Ayush is here, Vineet is here. Thanks for joining, guys, and I hope you will enjoy the stream. Coming to you, McKyle, we have to speak about one man, that I highlighted in that video as well, Declan Rice, right? So there is definitely a split opinion here that Declan Rice is overhyped or no. Definitely for me, the final that he had, the first half, told me that he is ready. Did Declan Rice really stand out and basically announce himself to the world on with that first half performance, or you think second half he kind of went missing a little bit, and that's something that he still has to learn?
I think it was a bit of both. He had a fantastic performance in the first half, for sure. He was bossing that game, and that's the Declan Rice that's what the hype is about. He has that ability to actually use his physicality and ability to run with the ball in those situations in midfield and actually progress the ball. Whether he was able to do it consistently across the 90 minutes or 120 minutes is debatable, because it's more a tactical team setup issue, necessarily not just a Declan Rice issue. So he was impressive. I was impressed. I also have some questions about his ability to progress, like incisive passing, things that we, from a Chelsea perspective, still moan and groan about for our midfield itself, the current midfield that we have, and I don't necessarily see him as being the Cesc Fabregas injection to the team either. If, let's say, he were to join Chelsea at some future point, if he were to follow the hype. But that said, for the role that he's supposed to play, which is a CDM, he was impressive in that game for sure. I really like what I saw.
Yes, I certainly saw an improvement even in passing, but yes, basically he's not there yet in terms of someone who kind of can pass at will, right? That's something that probably needs a little bit of improvement. But Taron, coming to you, I know Declan Rice and Phillips have done excellently in the entire tournament, and we'll come to the team of tournament for sure. But for this big final, and Henderson kind of had that impact in the previous game, Do you think it would have been better maybe getting Henderson to start for the passing ability against Italy?
Nah, I thought Declan Rice and Phillips were too good to be dropped for the final. It wouldn't be fair to start every single game up to the final, then dropping them when the moment really matters. It would just be a bit of a joke. I suggested if we were to bring on Henderson, maybe if we were winning 1-0, drop off one of the attackers and make it a 3 midfield. Maybe drop Mason Mount for Henderson. Don't take off Rice when he's actually started the game really well. He's pretty much, I'd say, been one of the best midfielders in that game on the pitch. And then take him off for Henderson. I didn't really understand that at the time. But, I would have said drop him into a 3 midfield. But, at the start of the game, I was thinking if Henderson started, it would be because of his leadership. He knows what it's like to play in the CL finals, Premier League winning games where if you win the title, games like that. So my thought was if Henderson would start, it would have been because of that. But, I didn't understand the substitution to bring him off personally. Even Phillips, I would have taken him off instead of Rice. But, that pivot really surprised me in the tournament, to be honest. They were actually, people were saying before, they're quite defensive, both of them. Are they going to work together? Is it going to be, a very bland pivot? But one of them was progressive, one that was going back. The passing was really crisp. The dribbling, the progression out of the ball, out of the final third, it was all really good. And, it was a good pivot. But I don't really get that substitution in the final for me. It was just Gareth Southgate showing his lack of kind of, game knowledge and his lack of managerial experience for me. And, it was just kind of relying on Henderson to kind of carry him through the last stage of the game. He should have used his managerial skills to kind of help him get through the last stage of the game, not as captain. And I was a bit shocked by that, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree that definitely. As in, one example can also be Mason Mount, right? As much as we are Chelsea supporters and we all adore Mason Mount, he's been great entire season, and even I think the semis he did pretty well. But I think he was probably not fitting in that formation, especially in the final. So not getting in Saka or Grealish earlier, was surprising to me as well. As in, really surprising considering that, what Italy were doing was they were dominating the midfield, right? And we needed someone who could create more, and that's where we needed Grealish and maybe even Saka to kind of run through the lines. But yes, I agree with you, Taron, totally. I'll just go through one comment here quickly. I think coming to Fateh as well. Fateh, hey, Fanspire, big up. Fanspire is also a great channel, guys. You can subscribe to them as well. I know Fateh is on Fanspire often. So Fateh, are you a Mancini fan now? So seems like you are not a Mancini fan, is it?
So Mancini's had a stellar career. I think he's this romantic character in Italian football. He won the Scudetto with a very small club, Sampdoria. He lost the final at Wembley in 1992. I still remember, when I started watching football, he was this old guy at Lazio who helped Lazio win their first Scudetto. He brought all the experience there. Then he started his coaching career. He was so highly rated. He went to Fiorentina. He won the Coppa Italia in the first year. They got relegated. He went to Lazio. He changed that team. They had no money. He got them in the Champions League. And so when Inter Milan got Mancini, we had a lot of hopes from him. And he was a fantastic manager. He was a manager who gave young players a chance even back then. I'm talking about 2003, 4. Adriano, for example, played for him. And he was a young guy and Adriano was so good. But then, I sort of lost faith in him at this night at El Madrigal against Villarreal in 2006. I mean, we were so poor and Mancini sort of overthought that game. And from there onwards, even though Mancini was winning with Inter Milan, the league titles, we were so bad in the Champions League. We were desperate for success in the Champions League, and we got the special one, Jose Mourinho, who was so good for you guys at Chelsea. So we got him, we won the Champions League, and I sort of thought that Mancini can never really do well in Europe. And even with Man City, I mean, he got the league, but nothing in Europe, nothing with Galatasaray, nothing with Zenit St. Petersburg. So I had no hopes. But, I have to say now, I mean, how can you not give him respect? He's been so good. He's been so calm. Right from the first match, he wrote this fantastic emotional letter to all the Italians that was written in all the newspapers in Italy, like the nation has suffered from COVID. So let's all get together. Let's bring the team together. And look at what he's done to the nation. Look at what he's done to the league. I mean, I think I now support him. Although I don't know what to expect going forward because Chiellini and Bonucci are going to be old, and that's a problem. But even then, I mean, hats off to Mancini. I think he's been fantastic. And yes, I have changed my opinions about him. I'm not going to be too critical of him, at least not for the next 18 months.
Well, fair enough. Opinions do change, right, after all. But yes, good to know that, you've changed your opinion. But yes, I agree. Mancini was definitely, underwhelming when it comes to, cup tournaments. And this is something which will basically, break what he was on, right? As in he's achieved great, feat there for sure. I'll just go through this comment quickly. I expected England to be on the front Pickford after the early goal, true, but Southgate bottled it for sure. He should have tweaked his plan to pressure the Italians even more, as they needed an equalizing goal. True that, and we've touched upon that briefly. But Mikhail, coming to you, from a tactical perspective, Italy changed, I think, early on. Barella wasn't working as much as Fateh is in Inter Milan, and I have to say Barella wasn't working in this game.
Yeah.
And I think he was booked early, and Mancini was clever enough to change that, and he actually got another youngster, which was surprising itself. But Mikhail, at what point do you think really England should have changed, or they should have just gone for it in terms of people on the pitch?
That's a good question, we can all speculate. After the kind of start England had, I would have wanted to see them continue to press and for a second goal throughout the game. It kind of didn't happen as the game progressed. They kind of were okay to just sit with the scoreline the way it was. And even once Italy scored the equalizer, even then you didn't really get the feeling that Southgate wanted to make any drastic change. He was just happy with seeing out the clock, and in hindsight, that's where he needed to rise to the occasion and come up with something inspired. And you got the feeling that that's probably where England's quote unquote easy run to the final kind of showed that he maybe had not been challenged in that way, or necessarily had been worried to outscore oppositions once facing a tough opposition. As much as he did on the final. But I think it's more a commentary on the willingness of a lot of managers in the current modern game to just wait for the penalties. It's okay. It's perfectly respectable to see a game out just and blame the penalties for everything that happens afterwards, right? So it's a bit of a bad look. I'm certainly not impressed. By contrast, Mancini's changes were positive, progressive. You could kind of see what he was trying to accomplish when he brought the players on, So he was more proactive in what he was trying to accomplish. And the one criticism I would have of Southgate is that he wasn't trying to accomplish much in terms of scoring goals in that match past the second minute. And yes, England did have a strong first half, nothing to take away from them. But then they lost their way. Italy kind of studied what was going on, and they were able to come up with an answer. And at that point, England just kind of went to sleep, and just the rest of the match basically passed them by.
Yes, definitely. England have it in their legs, right? As in, they are much younger, if I'm not wrong. They have a lot of youngsters on the bench and even on the pitch, so they should have probably play the pressing game, in my opinion, as well, Mikhail. And they probably sitting back did not help, as I think everyone on the panel has already spoken about. I think, in my opinion, just to kind of add there to Mikhail what he said, the fact that Chelsea won the Champions League, again, I'm kind of biased, you guys must be thinking, but actually just it's a fact, because if you remember against Man City, we played a very similar game. We kind of got that goal, and then we defended for our lives and defended well. That was the difference, and we could actually play the ball while defending because we had the personnel that we had right on the pitch. Unlike England, who did not have, and that's the reason they should have changed. But Taron, I'll come to you. This is a quick question from Ayush. What do you guys think? Should England sack Southgate, considering there's only 18 months to the World Cup, Taron? I think you're on mute, Taron.
I'm really sorry about that. It's controversial. It's really controversial what people say. And I saw Fateh's shaking his head. But I'm going to be honest, if this England team had a better manager at the wheel at the minute, they would win the Euros and the World Cup ages ago. I'm telling you now, we've been suffering with managers such as Sven-Göran Eriksson, Steve McLaren, Fabio Capello for years. And now we have Gareth Southgate. Yes, he's got us to the final with a very, very talented group of players. But when it came to the crucial moment, I'm not going to lie, he stuttered. And I do take a massive blame with Southgate for the reason we lost that final. If we had a better manager, like I said, like a Jurgen Klopp, a Pep Guardiola, someone like that, a better manager at the helm right now, we would be flying at the minute. And, we have players like Saka coming through, Mount, Bellingham. We have a whole team of young players coming through right now. We're not like, in my opinion, Italy, who have some players coming through. They have two centre-backs who are ageing. Yes, they have Pastone who can come in, but I don't see that team as a long-range kind of project at the minute. England, could have talent for years to come at the minute. And below that, you have players like Harvey Elliott, like Tino Livramento. There's a whole range of talent through the age groups right now. And if we have a manager who can put a good long-term project, such as Joachim Low at Germany, who's been there for 5-10 years, we could have a manager like that who can do that, get us dominant, win us a World Cup, win us the Euros, and do all of that. So for me, I think it is the right time to get rid of Southgate at the minute. We have the time of 18 months to the World Cup. Let's get rid of him while we can. He's done well to get us here to the Euros final. He's done well to get us a World Cup semi-final. But now let's push his squad to over the line to win a tournament. Let's get a top-class manager who can get the best out of all these attacking players and the strong defence. And, I believe in this team. I've seen it with my own eyes. This team is based on individuals at the minute. We're seeing players like Sterling, assisting goals out of nowhere. We're seeing Kane constantly carrying this team. We're seeing our defence being solid. But is this to do with Southgate's tactics? I'm not quite sure at the minute. So the way I see it, I want the best for England. So I want my country to actually come home the next year. So I want to see a top-class manager come in, win us the World Cup, and then we go from there. For me, Southgate is not the man to really be a dominant manager in world football at the minute. But, he's done well. I'm not going to lie. He's done well from where we were under Roy Hodgson and the Capello. But he's taken us to, I feel, a point in his managerial career for England. And now it's time to hand the helm over to a better manager to seal the job and to win us international tournament.
Yeah, that's a brave call, Taron, I must say, but I understand totally, just so close yet so far, right? That was how it was. It was there for the taking, and that's something that Southgate really missed. But yes, guys, a lot of comments in here. Thanks for coming on, and 15 of you. I hope you guys can smash that like button as well as subscribe. A lot of channels are also there, so feel free to check them out. Chelsea Perspective, big shout out to you. Blue Clouds TV, another channel, great channel that you guys must follow. Thai Talks, Fanspire, as I said, CFCK2, all are budding channels here. Most of them Chelsea related channels, but you find general content as well as you do in RCBian Chelsea Fan TV, right? But just continuing the conversation, guys, I'll just throw it out to the panel. There were a lot of talking points in that extra time, right? As in, I think it was a lot of antics from Sterling per se, as well as Chiellini, as we can expect. But do you think the referee got it right, or do you guys, anyone disagrees with any of the decisions which happened?
No, I think they were fine.
Fine, right? Because I see a lot of reports. I think a lot of leading newspapers are reporting that Jorginho should have got a red card. Not in my opinion as well. Definitely it was a dangerous yellow card, but he was just being naughty, and that's something that is games management in itself, right? As in, that's what I would say. And Sterling also, I think was definitely falling to the ground, and I think Chiellini and Bonucci knew what they were doing. So anyone in the chat thinks otherwise, feel free to comment. But yeah, we believe that it was fair and square. And, in the end, yes, the penalties, it happened. And we all have been reading reports about, Grealish wanting to take the penalty, but wasn't given a chance because of Saka being preferred, because of reasons that, I think him and Southgate would be knowing the best, right? As in, that's what we can go with. But we'll have to support them, because at the end of the day, these are young players, and hopefully, they come up in the next tournament. And as Taron said, being an English fan, hopefully, Taron, will have England have a better manager. I actually am for that as well. Yes, I am biased towards England as well. But Fateh, you have a point there?
Yeah, I mean, Taron mentioned that it's time for Southgate to go, and he mentioned some fantastic managers, Klopp, or let's look at Pep Guardiola or Tuchel, but no top manager actually wants to coach at the national level. Look at Mancini. He failed at Galatasaray. He failed at Inter in his second stint, and he had a failed Zenit St. Petersburg stint. And that's why, he comes to the Italian national team, because there were no club jobs offered to Roberto Mancini. Similarly, not every manager at his peak, look at Thomas Tuchel. I mean, he's not going to leave a club job and come to the international foray. So I don't know what good option there is for replacing Gareth Southgate. I mean, if you mentioned Joachim Low, who has a more attacking style, but look at Portugal when they won Euro 2016, or France when they won World Cup 2018, and now Italy. All pragmatic, defensively sound teams who are not really given to attacking all out. And, it's very easy now for us to say, well, Southgate should have been very attacking and stuff like that, but he was winning that game for about 65 minutes. And it's not as if the Italians look very dangerous. The only goals that the English conceded are off set pieces. I mean, that goal against Denmark, off a free kick, and this goal against Italy off a corner. So the English defense doesn't even concede off normal play. I mean, how amazing is that? And I think, making a semi-final, making a final, and having such a young team. I mean, look at the players. I mean, Saka is 19, Sancho is what, 20, 21. I mean, this is fantastic. I think England is probably going to come home probably this decade. I think there is one tournament that England's definitely going to win. I mean, so, and I can't really blame Southgate. I think with this final appearance, he's at least earned a shot at the Qatar World Cup. If they fail there, then yeah, I think it's time for change. But what are the options? I mean, Frank Lampard,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No. Great points there, Fateh. Definitely, as in taken there. But it's just the final, that one game, right? As in there were question marks in the management, and the fact that, like you said, we, as in I'm saying we because England is my second team, right? But England conceded only 2 goals. The second goal was to oldest ever scorer in the Euros, right?
Yeah.
As in, I know Bonucci is a great player and all that, but that's something to be thought about, because that's how negative England became, which is something that they could do away with. And I think Chelsea perspective also says, like, while the referee wasn't perfect, he wasn't the reason England lost. England didn't do enough. They didn't go on the front foot, and that's something that probably he had a chance, and that's what we're all talking about. But yes, great points there, guys. And we have discussed basically what has happened. Congratulations again to Fateh, and I think we have Julius here, who's also an Italian fan, and a couple others as well. So congratulations, I think Luca as well. But yes, commiserations to England, and hopefully we do well next time around. And with that, I believe we should move on to basically the highlights of the tournament. What do you say, guys? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just quickly start here with McKyle. McKyle, or rather everyone, what do you think? Firstly, should be the formation. I know we're going to speak goalkeepers, but should we go for a 4-3-3 for the team of the tournament? That was the most, as an Italian team, kind of played 4-3-3.
Let's do that.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. So I'm kind of creating the team side by side, and in the end I'm going to share my screen. But firstly, to begin with, goalkeeper McKyle, I'll take a quick vote. Right, we saw 5 people there, and I know Donnarumma got the player of the tournament. Just a quick word. I know Fateh will have a lot of points there, but to me, yes, he won 2 penalty shootouts, which was a record in itself, back to back. Great achievement there, but. Throughout the tournament, don't you think, McKyle, that Pickford was probably world class compared to him, and even say Schmeichel? Just like we are picking not in terms of stats alone, but in terms of the impact that they had, obviously, in matches and in crucial moments.
Yeah, no, I agree that there were quite a few above average goalie performances throughout the tournament. So yes, Donnarumma gets the final and gets the trophy. But Pickford was definitely in there with a lot of impressive saves. But Schmeichel, he had some big moments in there too. So they're all good shouts. I can't take anything away from either of those names. They were all good. When push came to shove, I don't think there were any big mistakes necessarily.
Okay, so who does your vote go for, basically?
At this point, it has to be Donnarumma for me.
Okay, so quick rule here, guys. If it's basically going to be 2-2, like I'll have my vote as well. So I hope I can select, or you want to go round robin. That's fair.
You select.
Yeah, you select. I'll say Donnarumma as well, actually. Yeah.
Okay, I think we've already got 2 votes for Donnarumma. I don't have a doubt that Fateh is going to go with Donnarumma. Donnarumma it is, Fateh?
Yeah, because he had so much pressure. I mean, there was that moment when fans were throwing dollar bills at him. So there was a lot of pressure because he's going to change clubs, and he, because of his agent, gets a lot of bad press. But I think even AC Milan fans right now must be ruining the fact that they've not paid Donnarumma what he was asking for, because his performances have been really stellar. I mean, he's won Italy the World Cup. And what a miss for Serie A that he's going off to PSG now. So totally Donnarumma.
Yeah, I think Chelsea definitely missed it there. Apparently he's agreed to play second fiddle to Keylor Navas as per reports, but who knows? Now I don't think that's going to happen, right? After this,
That's not gonna happen.
performances that he's
Yeah.
had, Keylor Navas, like imagine, I hope we go for Keylor Navas as a second choice, as in he might as well play in Chelsea's second fiddle, winning the Champions League again. But anyway, having said that, Donnarumma I've just put in there, guys, as in. My shout also goes to Donnarumma, just so you all know. But yes, we should move on to the second position, which is basically we'll just talk defenders in general, right? So here you go. Now, obviously, we're not going to fit in everyone there, but definitely, there were a lot of shout outs because great performances. I think this was, a tournament of fullbacks. Like, I don't know if you all agree there. Like, we had so many fullbacks doing tremendously well, right? As in, especially a lot of teams playing the wing back formation as well. So, Taron, I'll start with you. I know on your podcast we picked Spinazzola, if I'm not wrong, at left back. But now that two more matches have gotten over the semis and the finals, do you think Luke Shaw has a better shout?
Yeah, I do. It was between Luke Shaw, Maehle, and Spinazzola. Them were the three that really stood out for me. And Spinazzola was put in, obviously, a few days ago. But for the final, I think Luke Shaw obviously scored the goal in the final. He had a great tournament overall. I think he got 3 assists in total. Linked up with Sterling so well, and was for me England's best player overall at the Euros. Even better than Sterling in my eyes. The way he defended as well, the amount of clean sheets he kept. So for me, I say Luke Shaw should be the left back in this team. Spinazzola, he did so well in the first 5 games, however many he played. But, he didn't play the last 3 or 4 games. Jacques Maehle, he got to the semi-finals, but there was only 3 games I thought he really stood out. The game where Denmark won 4-1, and also in the round of 16 game, and there was another game as well. But so overall, in terms of tournament consistency, I say Luke Shaw really deserves to be in there. And I believe he was in the official UEFA one as well. So for me, Luke Shaw. And do you want me to just say the left back, Ankit, or do you want me to go into other ones as well?
We will probably start with left back, right? As in, so left back, Luke Shaw for you.
Mm-hmm.
Julius agrees there. So Julius, if I'm not wrong, I know you follow English football as well, but definitely he's an Italian fan. So him picking Luke Shaw or Spinazzola is a given, right? Fateh, you have to agree there.
No, so I was impressed with Goossens and Maehle. So I saw Chiesa have a lot of fun with Luke Shaw. So I'm not so sure if I'd pick Luke Shaw. So here's some place where I disagree. For me, it was Goossens who was so good for Germany. He was so good going forward. Spinazzola gets a lot of press right now, but I've seen him for Roma. He's good. He's solid. But I'd still pick Goossens over everybody else.
Okay, I take that as a vote. But yes, Goosen had a couple of great games. Shout out to Lionel, big up. And McKyle, so we have basically my vote goes for Luke Shaw, just so you know. So McKyle, I think you have the decider here.
Seeing how things are played out, I agree with Fateh's analysis there as well. But seeing how things are played out, I think for this position, I'll go with Luke Shaw as well. Just to get it in that team.
No. So basically, with Maehle, I think he had a fantastic tournament. I agree there. He was definitely in with the shout compared to Goossens, according to me, because once in Denmark's switched jet formation, I think he was phenomenal. Another player, I had a shout out in I think in Taron's podcast again was Zuber. Zuber played left wing back, but he's more of a left midfielder, so obviously he won't play left back. He had a lot of assists in the tournament as well. But yes, I have put in Luke Shaw there, and right back, the other full back position, Taron, for you, Dumfries.
Yeah, there wasn't many standout right backs at the Euros for me who really were good. I mean, Di Lorenzo, he's really gone under the radar. I thought he was really solid for Italy for every game he came in after Florenzi injury. I say he's definitely up there. But the way Dumfries played, I know Dumfries is a little bit controversial as he went out in the round of 16 to Czech Republic, and he did play quite badly in that game. But for me, it has to be Denzel Dumfries. There's not many right backs, like I said, apart from that. Carl Walker could have been up there as well. But I don't think Carl Walker actually had a great tournament. I thought he made quite a lot of mistakes. It was cool to Reece James come in at one point. So for me, it has to be, Denzel Dumfries. I think it'll make you happy as well, Ankit. It's your stream at the end of the day, and I just thought Dumfries was so good in the games he played. So for me, it has to be Denzel Dumfries.
Yeah, big up to you, mate, for that. But definitely, I was very surprised. Like today, just so you know, guys, the official team of the tournament is also out, and Kyle Walker was picked there. Like I know he had great pace in the games that he had in the knockouts, but I think apart from that, he didn't do much, right? As in, there were a lot of other fullbacks who were better. Even Maehle can play right back, so I would rather pick him over Walker. But yes, Dumfries, I think Chelsea perspective also agrees, and big up to On as well. On, welcome to the stream, and I am putting in Dumfries as we've confirmed that. Now, considering we have two attacking fullbacks, whom do you go for centre back? The Italian centre backs, Fateh, I'm assuming you're going for.
I'm going to go for Chiellini, but with him, I'm going to take Maguire. Because the English defense deserves a lot of credit. I mean, as I said again, not conceding a goal from open play. I don't know what the record is for that in a major tournament, but England really defensively, and that's something that you don't really expect from the English, to have such good defenders. But yeah, so I think Maguire deserves to be there. I mean, Britisher definitely deserves to be in that centre back position, and of course Chiellini. I'm not picking Bonucci because I feel like Chiellini makes Bonucci look really good. Bonucci even lost his starting spot at Juventus this past season. So yeah, I think Chiellini and Maguire for me.
Well, I have to disagree with you there. I thought Bonucci was like a different kettle of fish altogether in this tournament,
Yeah.
right? As in, he was something else. I think, yes, Chiellini brings a lot of leadership in that back line. And as you said, that setup that he does along with Bonucci. But Bonucci was a different animal. Like for me, I have to pick Bonucci. My vote goes for Bonucci and Maguire just before I go to Mikhail. Mikhail, what about you?
Bonucci for me over Chiellini for sure, just because Chiellini was in the dark arts a little bit too much. So Bonucci for me, definitely. And I wouldn't mind picking one of the Englishmen because their defensive setup was pretty decent across the whole tournament. Which one is the question? I was partial to I don't know. Maguire was decent, but I'm having a hard time.
Probably leadership edged it over Stones, right?
Stones. They were equally good together.
Yeah, Taron, whom would you pick? Maguire? I think he was a better shout, right? For sure.
Yeah, Maguire had a great tournament. He was really good. And, people were talking about his price tag. It was a lot before the tournament. And now people are starting to change their mind on him. So, yeah, Maguire and Bonucci for me. I thought Bonucci scored the goal in the final. Played pretty much every game. Chiellini came out for a few games for Serbia as well. So, Bonucci, I'm pretty sure, has played every single minute of the Euros for Italy. So, for me, it has to be Bonucci.
Well, Mount. Every dog has its day, right? I mean, definitely Mount had a bad game, but he had a great tournament in bits and pieces. He could have had a better tournament for sure. But yes, thank you, Chris, for coming on, guys. Check out the channel as well. And I think on Chelsea perspective, I've gone for Chiellini and Bonucci, which is against Fateh himself being an Italian fan. So I have to go with Maguire and Bonucci. I think that's what the vote is going for. So I put in that, guys. Sorry about that. So, we are ready with our defense. Should we go to the next stage? Final stage, rather? Okay. Wow, a lot of midfielders and attackers there. But I'll start with Taron. Taron, I am assuming for you, Jorginho was right up there in player of the tournament as well. Like, uh, as in, I think I just can go and put him there, right? I'm sure Fateh is anyway going to go with Jorginho. Guys, I think Jorginho is good. Yeah,
Yep.
I think all are good, right? So, Taron, I'll ask you.
Ballon d'Or winner.
And who's your second midfielder, Taron? Then I'll probably ask you to pick a second midfielder right away.
Yeah, I was thinking of going with one of the English boys. I saw Højbjerg was in the official team, which I actually do not get one bit. I don't know how he's really got in there. Also, there's been Pedri, who's a big option, and I do think I'm going to go for Pedri as one who has to be in there, surely, 100%. So we put him in on the perfect Hatrick. You know that, and young player tournament officially as well. He's been. I'm pretty sure he played 2 back-to-back 120-minute games, and he only missed like 1 minute of both of them combined. So this guy's had a crazy tournament. For me, one of the best young players in my football at the minute. And, Barcelona should be signing him down to a new contract because I think he's the next Iniesta, to put it that far. And I think he's absolutely class. So for me, he has to be in there. And he should be in most teams of, the World X side this season. I could even see him being in there if he plays well for Barcelona. So, yeah, he's had an amazing tournament. And I do predict him to do really well in the future as well.
Right, as in fair point, definitely. Pedri and Jorginho in with a shout. But Fateh, I'll come to you because, like this comment says, right, N'Golo Conte made Pogba look good, so he should just be in. Like, I didn't even have Conte as one of the nominations there, to be honest, being a Chelsea fan. But do you actually see Pogba doing well because of Conte? Like, just because me, Taron, and McKyle are Chelsea fans, right? And we'll definitely say that. But do you feel that was the reason and Pogba is a little bit overrated because of what Conte does for France?
No, I think Pogba, sort of his heart is not in Manchester United. So, I've seen him at Juventus and he didn't have Conte next to him and he was very good. I've never seen him do that, what he does for the French NT and what he does for Juventus, or what he did for Juventus at Man U. And I think it's just a case of his heart not being in it. So I don't think it's Conte, because I thought Pogba was so good. I mean, that goal that he scored, probably along with Schick's goal, is the best goal of the tournament for me. But again, if I look back at that match and I saw that you've nominated Granit Xhaka, and Granit Xhaka was so good in that game, and the switch was so different in their next match, and they missed him so much. So I mean, if there has to be an underdog in this midfield, why not Xhaka?
Yeah, Xhaka is a good shout, but did he have like that tournament in terms of consistency? I know his leadership quality was like, definitely up there and deserves a shout. But I think I just highlighted a comment with Verrati. I think Verrati started off this tournament slow, but Fateh, as an Italian fan, do you feel, especially in the final, Verrati and Jorginho, the partnership that they had was probably the difference maker at the end of the day, which made them win the tournament?
Totally. I mean, I think we struggled those opening 20 minutes. And once Verrati and Jorginho started getting more of the ball, because Barella was really poor, like you mentioned earlier, we started getting more chances. We started getting more confidence, So I think Verrati and Jorginho, both of them, they were fantastic. And Pellegrini, Pellegrini was injured. Locatelli, I mean, his stock has risen so much. At the start of the tournament, it was all Locatelli and there was no Verrati to be seen. So for Verrati to actually take his place back and perform the way he did in the final, big up to him. So I can't choose that. But if I had to choose, I'd actually go for Locatelli, Verrati and Jorginho with Xhaka on the bench.
Wow. So, McKyle, I'll come to you. The third midfielder is a tough choice. Like, a lot of options there, and for me, definitely each option is great.
Yeah.
I would go with an Englishman, but again, depends on who we pick in the forward line. Because, for example, Forsberg can play in as a left center midfielder as well. But McKyle, who's your shout for the third midfielder?
Forsberg for me was the shout, actually. I was really impressed by his tournament. He was a pivotal player for Sweden, and if it's not an Englishman, then that would have been my first shot for sure.
You know what? I suggested that, and now I'm thinking, should I change my own vote, guys? I think Forsberg was kind of underrated in the tournament. I think Sweden got to where they did because of Forsberg, in my opinion. On second thoughts, Taron, Fateh, I think I'll go with Forsberg. What do you guys think? Fair enough?
Yeah. Let's go for it. Let's go for it. Definitely.
Okay, perfect. So I just put in Forsberg. Guys in the comments, feel free to comment again. But yes, the forward line now.
On mentioning Højbjerg, so definitely good shout.
Yeah, but I was surprised that he was in the team of the tournament. Yes, he had great matches, a couple of them for sure. Probably, the best in midfield that there was. But I think Delaney also had a great tournament. So it was more of a partnership, really. Like not like what Jorginho had, say, for instance, in Italy, right? But coming to the forward line, Taron, I'll let you go first. I know that you leave early as well, but maybe you can pick a couple of forwards. I'm assuming Schick is someone that you would go with, considering the quality of his goals and his overall play?
I think, should I go for the obvious ones or should I go for the weird? I'll go for the obvious ones. I'll leave the debate for you guys to do when I kind of leave. Patrick Schick and Raheem Sterling for me have to be in there. Patrick Schick, I don't know why he wasn't in the official UEFA one. I don't know how Lukaku scored in there. Yes, he scored like 3 goals, but has he been better than Schick, who scored 5? He's joined with Ronaldo, and he went out in the quarterfinals. I don't really know, but Schick, that goal, first of all, for me, the goal of the tournament. No doubt about that, and I believe it was like the second day of the Euros. And his goals consistently, he was scoring every single game. Without him, Czech Republic aren't qualifying for the round of 16. All the cause, I believe he did score against Netherlands as well, alongside another player, Ankit. You should probably back me up there. I don't know if he did score, but I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah. And he's just had a great tournament overall. I think he's definitely raised the stocks, like Fateh was saying, for another player. He's definitely raised the stocks, and there's going to be big clubs after him to get him out of Bayer Leverkusen, kind of get him a transfer. In terms of Raheem Sterling, I believe he scored 4 goals for a winger. In this England system, that's not very attacking at all. When you have players like, the midfield, who's not very attacking as well. I think a lot of credit has to be given to Sterling. And like I said, without him, are England going through beating other teams like Croatia and other teams like that? Not quite sure about that at all. And it's just been a great tournament for Sterling overall. And he had an awful season with Man City, but he's gotten through into the Euros and he's done so well. And hopefully next season, on my dogs here, hopefully he can do even better with Man City. I'm sorry, but yeah, for me, Schick and Sterling.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Taron, for your time. I know that you have to go, but we'll continue the conversation. But big up to you, Taron. You might want to shout out your podcast quickly before you go.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, first of all. Thanks, Fateh McKyle, for being great co-guest as well. And the live chat, thanks for being involved, so heavily involved. Without you, wouldn't have been as good as it was. And in terms of my little plug at the end, Perfect Hatrick podcast, my series, my Your Only Fan series is over now on the podcast. And it's been a great series, 30 days straight of recording every single day. Been a great series, but watch out, we'll have a week break. After that, we'll be back to pre-season content. We'll have journalists on. We'll have other big names in the football community on. And we'll be talking all things pre-season and transfers. So stay tuned for that on the podcast. And thanks to live chat, fellow guest Ankit, for having me on. And yeah, have a great day.
Thank you, bro. Have a good one. And guys, I've updated Taron's channel link, below in the description. So take a look for sure. And Taron, big up to you, and we'll probably meet up soon.
Take care, guys.
Yeah.
Check here.
Okay, as Taron leaves, we are left with a debate here. So I'm looking at the chat now. So welcome, Rich Sports. Rich, big up to you. Another channel, guys. A lot of general football content as well as Manchester United content for people who want to follow them. Definitely, I would recommend. And I am seeing Schick and Sterling being votes in the chats as well. And I think the third vote is Chiesa. I know that there is a debate to be speaking here about a lot of other players that scored, like Ronaldo, the Golden Boot winner, not being there. Do you think it's fair? Fateh, I'll come to you first.
So this one forward that I was very impressed with, who's not being talked about now, but who I think we'll be hearing from in the future, is the Swedish striker Isak. I thought he was very good, especially in the group stages. And I think he's somebody who's going to really break through. But having said that, you can't really ignore Patrick Schick up front. I think he set the tournament, at least the group stages, on fire. Similarly, the second game against the Dutch. He was, I think, the only player who sort of showed up even against the Danes in the quarterfinals. So I don't think we can sort of ignore Schick. So I would pick Schick. I will pick Chiesa because Chiesa was so good. And that was the one criticism that I had of Mancini, that why is Verrati starting over Chiesa? So, good sense prevailed against the Austrians. And since then, Chiesa always started. Again, big up to Mancini for actually seeing that and then not changing it. So Verrati went to the bench. So yeah, I'll pick Chiesa, but I will not be picking Sterling. I thought Damsgaard was so good for the Danes. That goal that he scored, I mean, wow. I think he's a player who's probably going to be moving on to a bigger club this summer. I think Sampdoria. as usual, they keep unearthing talents. Big up to their talent factory, to their scouting system. So yeah, Sterling was good, but I have to go with Damsgaard. I thought Damsgaard, and
Wow.
especially considering the way Eriksson went and Damsgaard then stepped up, considering what happened. I mean, those incidents. So yeah, absolutely. I think Chiesa and Damsgaard on the wings and Schick at the center. That's my attack.
That basically rules out Chiesa because basically you not going for basically a couple of Italians tells it that basically they were not so good. Yes, they deserve definitely starting for Italy, but probably not the Euro 11, right? As in, that's just me, talking as neutral here. But Bobby's here. Bobby, big up to you as well. And yeah, Sterling. I don't know, like McKyle, he was in for player of the tournament overall. Like if he had a good final game, right? As in Sterling should be a shoe-in. Don't you think so, McKyle?
Should be a shoe-in. There were many players with good performances, but based on Sterling's performance, I think he overperformed expectations. So he is a decent shout for sure. But there were so many others. So it like there were some injuries. Kevin De Bruyne can always be shoehorned into a team. Perisic for Croatia was amazing. For his tournament. Chiesa was amazing. It's a hard choice. So I don't know. Given the forward line that you have, Slazai impressed me for Hungary throughout. But was he a winger? No. But he had very few chances, and every time he was on the ball, he looked very dangerous. A little older nowadays, but he looked like a composed, experienced player as well. So he was exciting to watch for me. And we haven't even gotten into the Lukaku's or the Ronaldo's so it's a tough choice. But I think given the mobility and the flexibility that Sterling did show from open play, he is a shoe-in for sure.
Interesting. So yeah, sorry Fateh and the chat. We will listen to you definitely, but Rich Sports agrees. Thanks, because I generally feel he deserves the praise. I know he dived a lot, but that's something in his dribbling game that works for him, and it's a referee's fault, not his fault. Like that's the modern game, unfortunately, right? And I think Sterling has to be a shoe-in. So I've actually gone ahead and put him because we've got more votes for Sterling, 3 votes against 1. Fateh. And
has he been called up for the Olympic squad?
For the dive? You just. Okay, I get you there now. Good one. But yes, hopefully Sterling will make it to the English Olympic squad as well for swimming. But good one. But Patrick, Schick, and Sterling, I think those are the common picks in terms of votes. The third one is still a question mark for me. We haven't picked a Dane. I know Chiesa was fantastic. I'll probably want him to sign for Chelsea if he hadn't had a Pulisic, for instance, right? I think that's what I would go far as saying. But yes, he did not start each and every game. Damsgaard also did not, but I think Damsgaard probably had that bigger impact for Denmark versus Italy. What impact Chiesa had, right? That's my debate. McKyle, tell me if you disagree or no. Havertz, wow, that we missed Havertz.
No, I have to agree with you, concur with you 100% there. No arguments for sure.
Okay, so I'll probably go in with Damsgaard. So yeah, we get in a Dane as well, which is fair for the tournament that they've had. And we are ready, guys. I am downloading the image and I will be sharing with you guys, tweeting it just after this as well. I'll try to share it as well. But yeah, a quick shout. Who's the captain or the player of the tournament? I'm sure the player of the tournament should be from this 11 and the captain as well. So, McKyle, I'll go with you first.
Player of the tournament or captain?
Let's go with captain first.
Captain, Bonucci probably.
Okay, that's a good one. What about you, Fateh?
So I think based on the players that you've picked, I think Bonucci has the most experience. So it will have to be him then, But if it was my pick, then it would be Chiellini. So have you picked Maguire and Bonucci at the back?
Yes, it is Maguire and Bonucci.
Then I think Bonucci to captain.
Let me see if I can quickly share the screen. Just give me a second, guys. Guys in the chat, anything that you strongly disagree with, there are still, a couple of minutes. So let me know. Okay, I'll just... Okay, this is what it is. I'm just sharing my tab here. I hope you guys are able to see it, right? So that's our team. I think it's fair. I think Pedri, Forsberg are basically the attacking outlets, and Jorginho being the register that he is, and with Shaw and Dumfries also being quite attacking guys. And Bonucci, fair enough, is the captain. And now, quick shout for the player of the tournament among this. You guys will also go with Donnarumma or different choice, Fateh?
I'd have to go based on that. I'd have to go for Donnarumma because I think Jorginho missed that penalty. That's the only sort of issue with why I'm not going with Jorginho for the final. So I mean Donnarumma. I think those semi-final and the final, I think has to be. And also the Austrians were doing so well against Italy. They had a lot of chances. So Donnarumma played well in that game too. So let's go with Donnarumma for player of the tournament.
Okay, I have to disagree with you there. Like, he had a fantastic tournament, and the best goalkeeper for sure, and really inspirational at the back. But I don't know, like, McKyle, what's your call?
Gonna put me on the spot on this one. Oh man, it's a hard one. Donnarumma's the easy choice for sure. Patrick Schick, I think has a claim to fame there as well. But Jorginho for making the final, for being the kind of behind the scenes or under the radar kind of player, kind of kept things ticking for Italy. I'm biased, and for me, yes, that penalty miss was disappointing because that would have capped that argument for the tournament for him. So it's a tough one. I would say that just to make this interesting, I'm gonna go with Donnarumma as well, because the impact he had was undeniable. He was a presence.
Fair enough. So I think I'll probably have to tweet Taron or message him right away, because I don't know. Like, for me, Jorginho, as much as I did not like him, say 6 months back, the way he's played, he was like, along with Donnarumma, of course, like, played literally every minute, if not for those 15 minutes, those inconsequential 15 minutes towards the end of the group phase. And yes, he missed a penalty, but not that Donnarumma hasn't conceded a single goal. So, Jorginho was, if you talk about stats, he was there in every stat, like, be it defensive, be it attacking, the through balls, the passes to the final third. He was right up in the top 2 in every stat for a midfielder. And that's something from Squawka that I actually downloaded and got for you guys before, the stream, so that I could prove myself. But now I have basically been outvoted. I cannot like dominate it, and obviously,
So here's the thing. My caveat is, maybe I didn't say it right. My caveat is, if he gets that penalty, he would be my vote.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So basically, it's a thin line, basically, right?
Very thin line.
Yeah. Okay. So I think Donnarumma takes the player of the year. He himself was surprised. Yes, we just got a comment as well. Like, he himself was surprised. But yes, I am surprised as well. But fair enough. We have to go with the fans. RCBian Chelsea Fan TV is for the fans, by the fans. So I cannot deny that. And definitely McKyle and Fateh, great panelists. I hope you all enjoy the stream. If you did, please smash that like button. And like I said earlier as well, a lot of channels out there in the chat. Feel free to subscribe to them. I would personally recommend them, as well as obviously RCBian Chelsea Fan TV. We are coming up with a lot more content this summer. Transfer news is something which is hot, and we have to cover that in the coming weeks. But even cricket is going to be back, so stay tuned for that. Back to the panel, guys. Firstly, Fateh, thank you for coming on. First time that we have a non-Chelsea fan. Second time, in fact, that we have a non-Chelsea fan on the channel. And great to have you. But how was your experience? And again, congratulations for Italy.
Yeah, thank you. And I think this was a very good experience. It's an honor being here. And like you said, just the second fan. So very honored. And I hope we talk in the future too.
For sure. We will. And yes, you can enjoy while Italy are champions. We have been bragging as, champions of Europe, being Chelsea fans. So, you've got to do. And, we didn't mention, like, we have 2 people with 2 European Cups this summer, and possibly a third in the European Super Cup just a month from now, right? As an Emerson and Jorginho. Imagine that. And then Ballon d'Or shout will be in. for sure. But Mikhail, thank you as well, buddy. I know that you are caught on time as well, and really appreciate your time as well as your inputs. Anything that you have to say to chat?
Thanks. It was very nice to come across Fateh as a panelist. Really interesting to hear his perspective on things. And thank you, Ankit, for having me on the show. It's always enjoyable, and I had a good time. Sorry, a little bit juggling a little bit. But it was fun. Thank you.
Yeah. I really appreciate that, guys. I think that's about it. Thank you everyone in the chat to participate, and you can follow the guys in the panel. This description has all the details. Till then, have a good one. Take care, and we'll meet soon. Right?
Peace.